Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Roaring Agents podcast. Today I'm here with Harvard Singh. He is the #4 real estate agent in New Jersey on social media. And we connected because he had posted that he gets over half of his business from social media. So we're all trying social media and some of us are succeeding more than others. So I wanted to pick his brain and find out what's working for him today. So welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? So, thank you so much for inviting me onto your show. I'm excited to be here, and I think we connected on Threads. Actually, we were both jumping in there and kind of taking our chances with posts, and we connected on my post about social media tactics, and I'm glad that we did.
That's funny. I could not find the place that we were originally connected. Like, where was it? I was here. I forgot about Threads.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to forget them because it's only been around for like 2 weeks. So,
So, half of your business is coming from social media.
yeah.
What is working for you right now? What's having the biggest impact?
Well, so look, I think social media has never been a get rich quick kind of platform, right? So I use Instagram primarily, but that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else needs to use Instagram to be successful. I think that if you can just get on whatever platform you feel most comfortable, whatever platform has your audience on, right? So it could be Facebook, it could be Threads now, because certain people have built this big, big following already, right? So it could be Instagram, it could be any of them, right? Could even be TikTok. So wherever you feel like you're connecting with the most people is a platform for you. Now the idea, especially when it comes to agents, I think what they end up doing is, and in sales in general, they end up posting about their product, right? For realtors, because I'm the broker manager of Howard Hanna Realty in downtown Jersey City. So I see this a lot where agents end up posting their listings and the homes they've sold, the just sold signs, the all these things. And at the end of the day, that's not getting you any traction. You end up becoming white noise on people's feeds. The algorithm gods start pushing your content towards the bottom of people's feeds. It's because it's not personable, and nobody's going to really connect with that. Agents think that, okay, by doing this, maybe I'll get a buyer for my list, or maybe by posting a just sold, I'll get a listing, right? But at the end of the day, the type of people that are looking on there for that particular property, let's say you put a listing up, it's very small. So the strategy should not be, let me sell this product. It should be, let me sell myself. And that's kind of, I guess, the whole aspect of what I do is just, you're kind of trying to connect with people on an authentic level. Because I've there's been so many people that I've met and made friends with through social media over the last few years. I would say the majority of my friendships even have come through social media in my town, and it's because they're like, oh, we've been seeing your videos, and I feel like I've known you for years, and it's because I've been projecting my authentic self out, and people see that.
The that's the interesting thing is that there was an actor who they asked him, what's the difference between American and European audiences? And he said, American audiences think you are that character. And I don't know how that's built into us or whatever. And seeing someone on social media a lot, you just think you know that person. There's this strange familiarity we have. And this is one of those reasons that why social media works. Why why are you focused on Instagram and not like on every platform trying to spread your wings?
Well, look, I tried to go on. Look, I am on all platforms, right? It just which one connected with me and my audience, right? I'm a millennial. A lot of my friends are on Instagram, and a lot of the people that I want to connect with, for example, one of the largest buyer pools right now is the millennial, group, the age range, right? I've gone on Instagram and I've done very well on Instagram. So I, play to my strengths, right? You could be a jack of all trades, but you're a master of none, right? So I like to focus on what I know I'm doing well at. So I've, struck gold for myself on Instagram and found a way for me to connect with my audience. And there's a lot of strategies you could use and different ways to use social media, and we could jump into that later. But that to me was where I connected with my audience. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the platform for you, right? It could be Facebook. A lot of people use Facebook, and a lot of their friends are there, and a lot of their friends are there. And I do use Facebook too, but it's just, it's just the one that felt most comfortable to me was Instagram.
The point you make about the product is you. That's I talk to a lot of new agents. I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, and it's reminding them the house is not the product. Houses come and go. You're the product. And when you're talking about that, I just kind of had this moment where I realized I think people hide behind the houses
Yeah,
because they don't really
100%.
want to put themselves out there. And so like, okay, well, I'll do this listing and I'll show this, I'll do everything but show myself. And you're right, you're missing out on a lot because regardless of who you are, you have friends, you have people that love you. And so go find those people out there, be yourself. I guess there's some people that get a little, I have a couple of friends that get a little too quirky, but you know, they're
No, that's what you wouldn't. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to show. And I'm going to get into that now.
well, good.
It's okay. So that's the idea, right? Everyone's fearful of using social media, putting their face out there, and using videos, right? They're so focused on their imperfections and their stuff that's been bothering them. And I put it in my post, the same one that we connected on. I think that the your worst enemy is the person you see in the mirror every day, right? The person talking the most shit, and I'm sorry, I hope I could curse here, but the person talking the most shit about you is the one that's looking at you in the mirror, right? Nobody really cares. At the end of the day, everyone sees you every day, right? They see you more than you see yourself. They hear you more than you hear yourself. So you need to just get over that little aspect, because really the person judging you is in your own head, right? You're the one that's holding yourself back. The limitations that we put on ourselves are the ones that we put on ourselves, right? And that's a real big thing for me. And I put up another post on Threads. I don't know if you saw that one, but that was about me, you know, coming across this major fear of talking to really large audiences, right? So I had the opportunity of being the host of the India Day Parade in Jersey City, overlooking Manhattan. It was a big deal. There was like thousands of people there, and somebody asked me, because their person just like backed out 1 week before the event. I was like, oh god, like how am I going to talk to, like, go up there for like 3 hours and host this major event that happens every year? And I just immediately said yes, right, without thinking, and I was like pooping bricks for like days. I was freaking out because I was like, what am I gonna do? Oh my god. But I knew that the fact that it was so terrifying to me was a reason that I had to do it, right? The If I said no, that was a limitation that I placed on myself, right? It was going to be something that I there was an amazing opportunity for me to get exposure, to grow as a human being, right? Now I'm not fearful of talking to anyone or any crowds, because that was massive. That was crazy. It was thousands of people. And I went there and I prepared, and I went up, and it was a fantastic event. But if I had placed that limitation on myself, that could have been terrible for me, right? That I grew as a person there, and I was able to actually make myself realize I can do that, and I can do more than that if I actually did not hold myself back, right? So that is, I think, here what I talk to a lot of people about is take that video, post it, and throw your phone across the room, and don't even look at your social media. Because what we end up doing is we post a photo, we post a video, and we're like, oh my god, nobody's seen it, nobody's liking it, nobody's liking it. Like, then you're going to get into yourself, and you're going to delete it, or you're going to archive it, or something like that. So just take a video, post it, do a market update, talk about a house, talk about some issues for buyers or sellers, whatever it is. Talk about yourself, talk about your weekend, whatever it is. Take the video, throw your phone, and just go do something else, because you're going to be the one that holds yourself back there.
Well, the big thing is trying to be perfect. And so they look at it, they try to redo it and redo it and redo it, and then they get frustrated. And I think
Well,
getting
sure.
it done is the first step. Everyone sucks at the beginning, right? And so we're comparing ourselves to the people who are killing it. Well, they all sucked, and we're just not going back and looking at that.
Oh yeah, well, first of all, that reminds me of a Winston Churchill quote, which is, I think it was, "Perfection is the enemy of progress." I think it was. It's something along those lines. Great quote, and that's very true. And at the end of the day, oh my god, I remember. I don't know if you remember the Icebox challenge from like years ago. Um, I did that, and that was like one of the first few videos I did. Cringe. I cringe when I watched that. It was so horrible. It was so bad. But I did it. I posted it, and that was my first limitation that I broke. There was like, all right, I need to get on video, and so I did that, and it was the worst thing ever. And I even look back at it, I still cringe. But I would not have gotten to this point if I had not started there, right? And so we have to start somewhere, and we cannot be perfect, because if you try to be perfect, perfect is unattainable, and
Yes.
you'll always find an issue with something that you do, right? So you need to go, and now rewinding to our imperfections, right? Our imperfections are the things that make us different from everyone else, right? So that's what we should be focusing on. We should be embracing our uniqueness and our imperfections, because that's what people are going to remember us on, right? Like I got these funny white glasses that I wear. I got big nose, a beard, and a beanie, and I'm wearing it 24/7 all 12 months in the year. So it's it's like, I bet you will not forget my face. No, but at the end of the day, if you got a funny laugh, you got whatever, you got a saying that you use a lot, like, lean into it, lean into it, and that will really get you farther. Like, look, I know that this is for your side, it's a more of a podcast, but I have these stickers. So I remember during the quarantine, I was like, how do I get my face out there right now? Like, how am I gonna get myself to a point where I'm actually better off after this quarantine? Because most people couldn't show houses, and nobody wanted to go out. It was crazy, right? And we all were panicking, like, what's gonna happen to the real estate world? So what I started doing is I put my face on a sticker, and I put a little quote on it. And now it says "Dream big, dare to do." Back then, during the pandemic, because everyone was freaking out, it said "We will thrive again," right? Because everyone was panicking, like, are we gonna survive this? Right. So I was trying to give out a positive, quote. And so, I did that, put my little Instagram handle on it, and it looks just like me. And so I actually threw it out there, and it became this big thing. It just, like, kind of uncontrollably just became it, had its own life. But at the end of the day, the thing that in high school I would get myself beat up for was the thing that helped me succeed massively in my business. So it's something that you have to realize, that yes, we are different as human beings, and everyone's DNA is different, unless you're identical twin or something like that. I don't know how that works, but we are all different. And we need to lean in on our differences to use that to project ourselves in our personal and financial careers.
Scary though.
It is scary. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. But now let me quote J. Cole: "Scared money makes no money," right? so, so like, if you want to be scared, hold yourself back. Okay, so this is a practice, kind of an exercise that I like to do with certain people, because I'm a manager, and I have agents below me, and I'm like training them and all that stuff, that they're just joining in the real estate world. So I use this exercise about fear. So I just sit down, and I make them visualize and write down, all of these amazing things that can come from doing the things that they're scared of, right? Write it down. You could have a big house. You could have the car of your dreams. You could get married and have children if that's what you want. You could get that watch that you've always wanted. You could, picture yourself in a suit walking around, or like this amazing, sitting with clients that you've always wished you had, right? You visualize that, and you look at your bank account and how much money is in your bank account, right? And are you financially free? Now I make them picture this, and I make them describe it to me in great detail. And then I say, all right, cool. Now imagine none of that came true in your life, because you were scared to do certain things and break out of your shell, right? Imagine nothing came true. Now what happens is, the fear of not getting everything that you just visualize is greater than the fear of actually doing the thing you're scared of doing.
I
So
love that.
that's the idea, and I try to sit with people and kind of really push them into realizing that they're the person that's actually holding them back.
Wow. That is that's a powerful visualization. Here's the brownie. Here's the brownie. Nope. No brownie for you. You can smell
Exactly.
it. You can see it. Nope.
Smell it, see it, taste it without actually biting into it. Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? So No, it's I think it's you know, I think we are our own worst enemies oftentimes. And I think we need to realize that. And that's really, dude, I'm still scared. There's so many things, and we're always growing. You could be, I'm not the most successful person in the world. Like, I'm sure Elon Musk breaks out in sweats, like, or Mark Zuckerberg probably breaks out in sweats. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are like the top guys in the world. You think that they didn't fail along the way, right? These guys probably failed a billion times. That's probably why they're so successful, right? And I think that the key to success, I think, is persistence and a positive attitude. Persistence, because you just got to keep going, and every time you fall, you need that positive attitude to be able to pick yourself back up. Right? You could fall and not do it again, and then that's it. It's over. Right? But you need to keep going. Right? That's why these people became so successful, because they didn't stop. They didn't stop, and then they found the courage inside them to pick themselves up to continue moving forward, and that's why they are where they are, and that's why we are where we are.
I appreciate you talking about fear and still admitting that you're terrified, because most people think, well, if they're talking about it, they've, yeah, everything's
Mastered
easy
it.
for them now. Like the phone calls are easy and social
Oh
media is easy
hell
and the
no.
contract. There's
I'm
plenty of.
still I'm still scared of calls. I hate calls. I hate calls. I hate them so much. I hate them. I fear rejection just like everyone else. It is what it is. A great book that also reminds me. A really, really good book for fear is Rejection Proof. I think it's Jay Jang. His name is.
Yeah,
I
something like that.
apologize. I apologize for butchering his name probably, but Rejection Proof, amazing book. He went out there and decided, I'm going to get rejected 100 days in a row. He's going to go to these businesses and ask for ridiculous things that he knows he's going to get rejected. And it's just a really funny book, but there's a really big lesson at the end of the book. And I don't want to really ruin it, but it's such a great and entertaining book about this guy that went out there to be rejected. And he learned such amazing lessons from it. I think that that's a great book to read.
Well, I saw a couple of his videos. I haven't read the book, but the thing was, he found out occasionally is his outrageous request sometimes got filled. The one with
Yeah.
the donuts.
Yes, that
He's
was the
like,
one that went viral.
I want, can't get the donuts in the shape of the Olympic
Yep.
logo. And they're
Yep.
like,
Yep.
sure. He's like, what? And
Yeah.
that's the thing is, that's something that I've had to work on myself and had someone help me with that, just, constantly on me, is don't say no for other people. My profile, my personality is to not go after things sometimes. And it's just like, well, no, they don't want to do that. They don't have the time, whatever. You have no
Yep.
idea. And there's some
Yep.
people who actually are, that's like me. I love to help people. And so by you not asking for help, you're not letting them live their true purpose. So don't
Yep.
say,
Yep.
it's not about being rude. It's about, if you don't ask, you don't get, and you don't know what the situation is.
One of the original laws of life. You don't ask, you don't receive. And my God, that is actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That is something that I really believe in. That if you don't ask, you don't receive. I ask for everything in the world. and
Even if you're
I
terrified.
even if I'm no, but not even that. Like, it's just like, so here's a story. I was I'm a CPA. I was in the CPA world. I was in the startup world. I jumped into the real estate world as an agent. I just flourished and did really well right from the beginning. And I became an agent in 2017. That's not that long ago, right? So I joined the office and joined this company. I really enjoy my company, and I asked them right after my 3 year mark. I got my broker license. I went to them and I said, "Hey, Jersey City is the second largest city in New Jersey. I want you guys to open up an office in Jersey City, and I want to be the broker for that office." And I made this huge presentation with them, and I showed them Jersey City and how it's changed, and how there's so much opportunity here, and blah blah blah. I talked about everything, and they were like blown away, and they go, "Start knocking on brokerage doors, and let's buy a brokerage for you to run." So I took that step of a ridiculous ask as someone that only became a realtor a few years before. Look, I had obviously proven myself. I mean, if you need to do the work, right, to get to that position, but if you do the work, and I made this ridiculous ask, and I'm sitting right now in that office that I'm talking. They came in about 2 years ago in November, so not even 2 years yet. We came into this office, bought them out. The agents are still here. We've been recruiting more. I've been basically doing what I wanted to do because I made that ridiculous ask. They could have said no, but if I didn't ask, it would have never happened.
So thinking about, if you didn't ask, it wouldn't have happened. And going back to you talking about that visualization you did, it reminded me of a story that I just heard recently. And it was John Mayer went to Drake's birthday party. And he partied so hard that he had a hangover for 6 days at least. And he felt horrible. And apparently his drinking had kind of gotten out of hand. Apparently, if he's hung over for 6 days.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
and he started talking to himself. He goes, look, you have to decide how much of your potential you want to give up. And whatever percent is fine, but you have to decide how much of your potential you're going to give up. And he's like, I don't want to give up any of my potential. So he stopped drinking. I'm sure it was not so perfect and easy as that, but this concept of not asking, not doing, whatever, giving into that is how much of your potential are you willing to kind of cast aside? Because like you said, if you had not done that festival, whatever that was with 1,000 people,
Yeah.
that was you giving up your potential.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
asking for this great opportunity was you deciding, well, no, I don't want to live up to my potential. And you did not do that. You went, no, I'm going to go do the thing. And you have that part of your DNA to like, no, I'm going to ask. No, I'm not going to, let the fear stop me. And I think that's a big thing for different people, is just really having that. I love the visualization you did. And then adding that extra piece. Are you going to give up that potential? And I think for some people that's a big one, like, oh God, no.
And sometimes you're asking yourself, you're not only asking other people, right? You're asking yourself to be giving yourself the opportunity to be the better person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have these Funko Pop dolls, and they have them all to remind me stuff. I have some to remind me there. And I've got that Spider-Man one where they're pointing at each other. It's the meme.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
And that's to help remind me that the only enemy is the enemy within. We, own worst enemy, that's the only enemy.
So true.
And if you can get rid of that enemy, there is no enemy. So it's all an inside battle, everything that we're doing. So, yeah.
Oh, it's true. I mean, it's crazy.
So let's get down to the tactics and the ways, what's working for you, why you do what you do, videos, reels, I mean, photos, tagging, timelines. Let's hit on the tactics to give people something to work with.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of went off on a tangent there.
It was good stuff, though. It was good stuff.
So look, all right. So I had built, you have to think about your target market, right? So I'm in Jersey City. I specifically wanted to find a way to connect to people in Jersey City. So on Instagram, for example, there's a search feature, and I search for locations in Jersey City. So I search for Jersey City itself, downtown Jersey City, certain restaurants and businesses and bars in Jersey City. So I would go there. It's a little creepy, but hey, it worked, and I made so many friendships from it. I went there, and I went to the recent photos or recent reels and recent everything from there. And I went through and I started kind of engaging with the photos. And they're like, oh my God, that food looks so great. Like, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. This reminds me of this, and I started engaging, liking photos and stuff with people in my location. And I've connected with so many people because of that. And of course, that's not the only way, right? You have to put out content that is relatable and human, right? But that was one way to actually connect with people that I had not already known. Some people are like, why would you like other people's photos? I mean, are you selling all your real estate and your services to people that you already know? You need to meet new people, right? And so that was the point of that, right? And I've connected with so many people in Jersey City for just by doing that. And then as far as my content goes, I think a mix is really important. I think the Instagram is kind of moving away from hashtags right now. There's when you put a reel up, I think there's something in there like you could select topics that the video is about. I think that's kind of where they're pushing, but like use a few hashtags. And I think there's different types of hashtags, but as long as they're relating to the video itself, I think that's what they're really pushing for. They don't want spammers just copy pasting the same hashtags that they always have, because then at the end of the day, you're just spamming those hashtags. So then they just, again, the algorithm gods push you towards the bottom of the feed, right? So I think a mix of content, photos, reels, stories are very important to engaging your audience, and also engaging with your following as well, right? So they're putting posts up, they're putting videos up, they're putting stories up. Engage with them. What ends up happening when you're engaging with your audience is the same thing that happens when people are engaging with you. You feel excited, right? They're gonna feel excited. Oh yeah, this guy liked my story. This guy liked my post. This guy commented on my stuff. We all love that when people do that to our stuff. So we need to do that to other people's stuff so that they feel like reciprocated, right? You're one making, enjoying other people's content in the way that you would want them to enjoy your content, right? So that's important. That's another way to connect on a human level. So, and also what I've noticed is when I start engaging with certain people, my posts start showing up on their feed more, because all of a sudden now you search for someone, let's just say, and all of a sudden their story becomes the first story that pops up on your Instagram. Right? And you're like, how did that happen? It's because you went to their page, or because they had recently interacted with your page and you had reciprocated. So there are ways to kind of, I don't want to say target because that's kind of creepy, but it's like you wanted to go out there and kind of connect with certain people. There's ways that you could be at the front of their feed, right? These are all strategies, and look, at the end of the day, not all my closings it came from new people. It also came from people that had forgotten about me, right? So I had gotten a referral from someone that was just an acquaintance in college, over a decade ago. And he had referred me because we had connected on Instagram and we barely spoke to each other, but for some reason he kept seeing my videos and photo pop up as a reminder that, oh, wait a minute, this guy's a realtor. So all of a sudden he connected me with that person. I got a sale because of that, right? So I count that towards social media because I had not been talking to this person for years, decades, like not decades, but over a decade. And I count that towards social media because if I didn't have social media, most likely that person would have forgotten about, and I wouldn't have been the person that they referred out. So, and I also believe that that was because I put my face out there, not just my listings, right? Because that's just boring content that, let's be honest, most people don't care about. Right? They're going, oh, okay, cool, that's a cool house. All right, next, right? You want to put your face
It
out
doesn't
there.
hook them. It's
No,
fun
it
to
doesn't
look
hook
at,
them.
but it doesn't hook them.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, cool. Like there's billions of these on my feed. Like it's just annoying at that point. So that's the idea, that you have to put yourself out there and maybe show your family where you went to a restaurant. Like I take, I get coffees every morning, so I'll like just take a photo on my stories and be like, love this place, right? Like there's so many ideas. Like you should be putting up like as many stories as possible a day.
Stories are so hard for me. They're not common. Now, I'm a real estate coach, so I'm in here in this office most of the time. I'm not out and about. And I think it's easier. And this is why I try to tell agents is like, just document what you're doing. You're out and about, you're
Yeah.
doing real estate things. It's so much easier.
Something like you though, you could do quite a bit, right? You could share other people's posts on your stories. You could kind of just chat, right? Now stories is interesting. They don't want you to do the same type of story. So they don't want you to just do that talking head for like 20 stories. They want you to mix it all about, right? Throughout your day, right? You could do a talking head and be like, oh my gosh, I just spoke to this client and this was a win for them, right? Or and then you could later post, you reshare a story on there on your page, then put a poll up, put a question up. You have to mix it all about, and that's the best way to do stories. Is really when people are like, I don't know what I could put up for stories, and like how how do you not know? I mean, there's so many things. You like, are you sleeping in bed the whole day? Like, because if you are, that's a story too. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, how do you not have ideas for stories? You know, that's to me, I'm just like, how's that possible?
Just natural for you.
Well, not only me, but it's just you come up with ideas. You have to just think about it. Like, okay, I got a coffee. Let me throw up a story. Let me tag the business. Now the business might reshare your story, and then you get some more exposure there. I'm at a restaurant. Oh my god, I absolutely love this restaurant. And take a picture of your food, or take a picture with the owner that you're friends with, or blah blah blah. Like, come check out this restaurant. Oh, I'm at this shop and I love this shop, right? Or hey, I'm at doing a showing. Take a little video of the house while you're in there. People like that because it's in stories and it just goes away, right?
Right.
That might not work as a post, but as a story, it's like, oh wow, this guy's out and about and doing real estate, or doing something with their job. So it's not natural, really. It's not. It's just it's something that I've trained myself to do. And I think at the end of the day, just like making cold calls, doing postcards, social media for us it's a lead generating thing that we have to consider business. It is part of our business now. We have to look at it as if it is business, because it is.
Have you figured out a schedule, or do you just go on the fly with how many posts you do, when you post them, all that stuff?
I Because I became a manager, things have become a little busier. But I have like goals for myself where like I put up like 3 to 4 posts a week, and I have to put stories up. It's just consistency, right? If you post one story or one post every month, like nobody's gonna see it. And also, again, the algorithm gods, they're gonna be like, this person is not really even active. We're not gonna push their story, or we're not gonna push their content. So you have to be consistent. You have to keep putting stuff out there. I've noticed where like I've kind of fell off a little bit for a week or two. I put a post up, did terrible. It's because I hadn't been posting, right? So you have to continuously post, right? I would say, at least 3 to 4 posts a week, and as many stories as possible, at least a few a day.
So it sounds like you're leaning a little bit more on the stories, because most people are like post more on, the regular posts. But I think the stories are feeding you. It probably
Stories
fits that
help with
better.
engagement. Story helps you engage with your current follower.
Mm,
Um, Posts can be pushed out to new audience and your current audience. I think
mm.
that you can't put 20 posts up in a week. That's just too much, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's too much. It's too much. I mean, if you could go for it, great. I think, like, for if you could do one a day, that's fantastic. But if you go more than that, it's like, I don't know, like, what are you really putting out there then at that? Like, it is, it's not really quality content at that point. So, um, yeah, I mean, that's the idea. Is that stories help you really engage with your current audience, and then posts help you with your current audience and new audience members.
How much how much is real estate content and how much is personal content, or do you even think about that? It's just a flow?
Well, I actually like to do 70/30, where 70 is like personal content and 30% is business related. Just because at the end of the day, you have to show your personality, talk about things that you like. Like my posts, if you go on my feed, like some of them are reels about real estate, but other things are just photos with me, my wife, my friends. We're just out and about, at our favorite places. And I think that's important too, because it shows that you're a human. Right? I have my nieces and nephews, and I have photos with them, and people are like, "Oh, okay, this guy's an actual human. He's not just some guy that is trying to sell real estate. This guy has a family, and he loves his nieces and nephews, and he's reading them storybooks, right?" So like, these are important things because it essentially teaches people that you're also a human, you're a relatable person, right? If you're just up there talking about real estate or your job 24/7, it's just like, all right, this person is only their job. They're only out here for that, right? There's no give and take. They're just take, right? Like, you're only going out there to ask. No, you should also give. So show them that you're not only on social media to take their business, but you actually are showing about your life and trying to connect with them on a personal level.
Do you have any specific calls to action, something to, like, call me for this or reach out to me for this?
Yeah, I mean, calls to actions are really important. I think that, you some, for example, threads I've been messing around with. At the end, I always say, hey, like, share, follow, so that we can connect. It's always, you have to throw an ask out there, because again, if you don't ask, you don't receive, right? And with the real estate content, I'm always like, yeah, if you need a realtor, or if you even need to just chat about something, or if you need to connect with a contractor, yeah, give me a call. I'm happy to help. It's not always like when the transaction is done, you're done, and like, goodbye, people. It's like, all right. And I tell them, I was like, look, we just closed this transaction, but my job is not done. I'm always here, right? And that's the same with social media. I try to help them, and my content is not like, look at me, I made money, I closed this property. Like, all right, cool, whatever. It's also like, helpful content, like interest rate. This is my market update. The interest rates went up. Blah blah blah. Like, this is what's going on out there. But again, it can't all be that.
Well, I love that. As we wrap this up, what is obviously you have a lot of agents in your office, you're recruiting. What is one piece of advice you'd give someone who is stalled, not moving forward on in their social media? What's one thing that you say to them?
Well, it's really just doing it. It's just actually going there and doing the action. And if you need to put it on a calendar, I think calendars are incredibly important. And I know a lot of people are not organized in that fashion, but in the real estate world, we are our own bosses, right? So I think that calendaring your social media, calendaring, like, and setting time blocks for you to do certain things is very beneficial. So if you time block time for social media, and you just have to be like, all right, that's on my calendar, I'm doing that. Like, that has to be done. That will assist you with not only real estate, but this is like everything, right? Time block everything. Time blocking is so important. Time block times that you're going to prospect for, leads, and time block, reaching out to your, sphere of influence. Time block dealing with, just transaction management. Time block everything. Trust me, it works. I mean, if you could follow through with it and actually set a scheduled time for you to do something, it'll get done. That's really it. I would say time blocking is super important.
It is. It is. Well, if someone has a Jersey City referral for you, how do they reach out to you?
Well, okay, so I would love for people here to connect with me and become my friends on my Instagram and social media. My handle everywhere is Real Estate Sing, so that's Real Estate SINGH. And that's on Instagram, that's on Threads, that's on my YouTube. So it's youtube.com/Real Estate Sing, and Instagram.com/Real Estate Sing. So connect with me on my social media, because that's really how we're gonna truly connect and meet each other and chat with each other, and kind of get to know each other, right? You could take my phone number and all, but are you actually going to call me? I mean, cool, you can call me, but I think that the best thing is, I do a lot of my business on social media. It's become my thing. I like, as you can see with my little photo here, I have my Instagram.
I love
I
that.
don't even have my number on it. So let's connect over there, and then let's become friends.
And I'll put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining. This has been great, and I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I really love this.